Alright, hey everybody, welcome to TVboy here, and we've got another game log review, this time from week 4 of the competitive Vassal League for IACP Season 7. And we got a bit of a crazy one, actually one that I played against Derek. So I actually played this game last night for our league game, and it ended up being kind of a crazy game, so I definitely wanted to go over this one while it's still fresh in my mind. So we've got, we're playing on Deveron Garrison. I am playing Rebels, and I'm actually playing a list that I have shamelessly copied from Kyle, who played it in the September 10th tournament. I copied all the deployment cards. I did make a couple changes to the command deck, though. So I've got 2 Rebel Saboteurs, one of which has Targeting Computer, which gives it a reroll. Then I've got Kotun, Saw Gerrera, Mern, and then Rebel Care Package, and then Balance of the Force and Heavy Fire. I think Balance of the Force is off screen outside of my hand, but that adds 3 command points to my command deck that I can use. I ended up cutting New Orders that Kyle had in his deck, and I think I also cut Strat Shift because I was worried about coming up against like a smuggling compartment list. And I cut those for, I think for this list, Lock On, and then the unique command cards for Kotun and Saw, which were Field Supply and Guerrilla Warfare, which we'll see both of those getting played later in the game. And we've got Derek, who is after some of his favorite figures in the game. He's got IG-11, the Mandalorian with Clan of 2, Dr. Aphra, Onar Koma, Jabba the Hutt, Bib Fortuna, regular Jawa, and then he has a Devious Scheme. And so this is a 1-point skirmish upgrade that lets the player controlling it gets to choose their deployment zone, but then they force the opponent to take initiative round 1. So normally a player with initiative gets to choose their deployment zone, and usually to compensate for being stuck with the initiative round 1 is a disadvantage, generally speaking. So the payoff is you get to choose the slightly better deployment zone. That's why the maps are always like slightly uneven in terms of which side is better. And Devious Scheme basically gives you both advantages for 1 point. So, as you can see here, Derek has forced me to take the red deployment zone. The blue deployment zone is slightly better for 2 main reasons. The first one is, if you look up here in this area, the blue deployment zone has this wall that extends out further than the red zone. So that means there's more cover for the blue side if they want to, especially if they want to control this crate right here. Very safe right there to do so. It's still pretty safe for blue to control this. It's actually kind of hard to draw line of sight, but if blue has a figure here, then red can attack that figure from here. And that is not the case for blue. Blue has to move up quite a bit further to get line of sight to this space. The other advantage is over here in this room. The way that the crates are situated is that the blue side's crate, this one right here, it has much better cover from all sides. It is protected from this direction by this blocking terrain, and it's also protected from this direction. Whereas on the red side, the one that they have closer access to, this crate right here, if you're having to control that crate, you are exposed to fire coming from this direction of the map, as well as figures coming around here to fire on your figure. Whereas if you park somebody right here, they are also protected from this side as well if you have somebody coming up from the bottom. So that's the reason the blue deployment zone is slightly better, and you should probably take it if you have initiative in your games on Deveron Garrison. Alright, moving on to the actual gameplay here, because again this ended up being pretty crazy, and I want to keep it fresh what I was actually trying to accomplish in this game and what's going on. So I have initiative. I have 8 activations to Derek's 7. So let's get into it here. So before I move stuff around, I do kind of want to talk about general strategy here. So first of all, Derek has positioned his IG-11 right here, and in such a way that because IG-11 is speed 5, he can move all the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to right here, and that space has line of sight to all of these spaces. So this whole blue area, this is a complete death zone for me, especially since all of Derek's figures, but especially IG-11, can one-shot any of my Rebel Sabs in one activation. I mean, not one attack, but in one activation. I really can't be putting, I don't want to be putting any Sabs in this hallway here, in any of these blue tiles. It's just going to be sacrificing for them for no reason, other than to maybe pull his figures forward so that I can gang up on them. But the problem with that is that Derek's going to have initiative next round. So that's the other thing I'm trying to think about with this match, is how do I want to set up my end of round, start of round going into the next round. And it doesn't look good for me, even though I will have last activation this round thanks to having 8x to Derek's 7. He's going to get the jump on me in round 2. I don't have take initiative in my hand. We can take a look and see what I actually do have. So I do have planning, overwhelming impact, and collateral damage. And I mean, I do have planning, so maybe it'll change, but I don't draw take initiative with it. So I don't want to count on having take initiative. And instead, because Derek's list does not have doubt, I'm actually going to just be happy just focusing up all my Sabs and like hiding them. Because I have Mern in my list, who is able to hide my figures, in addition to Gideon and 3PO to focus them. So I am really good at powering up figures while we're doing nothing. The only problem is that I would be ceding map control to Derek, letting him control these objectives. And I'll talk about the objectives of this map in a little bit. I don't want to ruin what's about to happen at the end of the round. But yeah, so I'm actually going to just play the waiting game here. I want to be patient, and I want to set up for round 3, where I will actually have initiative going into that round, and hopefully be able to protect it either with negation or calm disruption in my hand, which I also have in my deck. Okay, so let's go into it now that we've kind of got the baseline strategy there. So I have initiative, so I will activate R2 here to draw a card. So I draw maximum firepower, which you can see there. Pretty good with Sabs if you can set it up, because they have they don't have line of sight blocking from other figures. What is it called? Priority target. So it's a pretty good card with them. Activating Mern. So Mern is a leader, so we're going to play planning, allowing me to draw Intel Leak and Negation. Great. Wish it wasn't take initiative, but I'll take it. Intel Leak will be helpful here. Important to note, Derek has no spies in his list, but he does have Dr. Aphra. So, you know, that affects how I want to play my spy cards. Knowing that he has Dr. Aphra, he could potentially replay them. So if I take a good card out of his hand, but I do it round 1, he can just excavate it in round 2, and it's not super helpful. So focused up the 2 Sabs at the front. And negation is actually really good because urgency is a big threat here with IG-11, where if he has urgency or worth every credit, he can just come up and blast one of these Sabs that I've kind of left hanging out of my deployment zone. But otherwise they are safe from IG's normal movement range. And he doesn't have Gideon either. Or yeah, he doesn't have Gideon in his list because he has Bib, so you can't push it further out. He has focused up Mando and Onar so far. Now I activate Gideon and I focus up my Sab. No, I focus up Khotun because I want her to be able to threaten. So here's my plan. Like I said, I'm not going to be trying to fight for that blue area. So that means I need to move towards the tree and the terminal, and I need to fight from there. That is where I'm going to have, in my opinion, more of an advantage over Derek's list, where I can use the cover to approach and close the gap. because his units are faster and they have better range than me. So, well, they're not faster, I guess, but they have better range. So I do need to get close. So I want to fight from the tree, and I'm going to open the door in the middle area in order to threaten both the blue area next round, and be fighting over these 3 crates in the green area. So I move Kotun with Gideon. Again, I'm just kind of trying to angle it so that I can actually threaten with her long range attack. It turns out this was actually a mistake. I thought I could get line of sight to Derek's objective holder if I moved Kotun there, but that space is actually safer than I realized, so that didn't work out. But it's okay. I'm still moving all my figures in that direction anyway, and I'm not planning on any kind of big push this turn. So 3PO activating. So he moves his Jawa. Again, this space right here, very safe. Very hard to attack. I think I have to actually get up to like here to attack. No, to here or here to attack it. Let's see. Yeah, super safe. So I actually have to either come up to right here, or right here to attack him. So very safe. So moving on, let's see. It looks like I activated 3PO to focus up a Sab, and I leave 3PO there just in case he is able to come up and attack me this round, because I want to have that distracting bonus to help keep them alive, because they are pretty squishy otherwise. So he activated Jabba, drew a card. Oh, he already did that. So activated Afra, moved her up. So he's also realizing that I'm going to be moving the fight over to the green deployment zone, I think. Activate Saw, again moving him towards the tree, but I do want to keep him safe for now because he has an important universal ability where I can discard cards to deal damage to nearby figures. I also have not drawn his unique card yet, and I want to be able to play that when I get the chance. Derek activated, I think he passed here. So now I've activated Kotun, and I just leave her there. Although I think, do I move her? No, yeah, I don't. Okay, so now Derek utilizing some of the power of Clan of Two with Mandalorian here. Change player 3. And I think I actually just want to put up, there we go, the child. So companions can actually control. That's just a lot of them will say this companion does not count for control. But the child doesn't do that. We decided to leave that off because it wasn't that powerful when it first came out. So by activating Mando first, he moves up to control this blue safe objective, and then he activates the child, and he moves it onto the other objective that is not as safe, but it's a 1-point companion, so he's not super worried about it. I should talk about here now some of the matchup stuff that I was thinking about as I was playing. So I have access to all this stun, right, with my Sabs, which is actually really useful against figures like IG and Mando who have to move and attack. They don't get free movement points like IG-88 or some other figures would. But the problem is that Derek has Clan of Two. So this child companion can just undo stun on that I deal to his figures, especially if I do it to Mando. He'll just activate the child, unstun Mando, and then it completely undoes everything, every attempt I make to stun it. So I'm actually really interested in doing something about this, and I decided later that I'm actually going to go for it here. So let's see, what do I do next? So yeah, he decides to do that. So very good play there, being able to control 2 objectives effectively with 1 figure. I'm down to 2 of my 2 Sab groups. So one of them I'm going to move into this nice safe area with the tree, and I decide to move the other one over here. And I'm hoping to set up to get, I just did that because of Saw's unique command card. It really wants all your figures to spread out. So I'm trying to set them up so I can hide these two if I draw it. Alright, so this is last activation for Derek. And he's going to play Urgency with IG-11, which is what I was worried about. But I have Negation, so I stopped that because I know that is how he is trying to get an attack. And by the way, rule of thumb, if you have Negation and your opponent plays a movement card, you should probably negate it. Even unless the take initiative from them is coming in the next round and it's going to be really, really, really impactful, oftentimes negating an urgency will prevent an attack from coming from that figure, I have found. So general rule of thumb there, which I end up later not following to somewhat my detriment. So negation going to stop urgency. So I activate and I point out that door is locked, so we put it back. And now here is where I decide to go after the child. And this is risky because now this sab is going to be attackable by any of Derek's figures. But I decide it's worth it to potentially trade a 3-point saboteur for this companion that is otherwise going to be messing up my stun and making it harder for me to utilize my list's capabilities to its best. Also, I'm still pretty safe to the point where IG would have to come 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, and then he wouldn't really be able to go anywhere, to get to safety where I couldn't attack him with the rest of my figures over on this side of the board. So it's actually not so much of a sacrifice as I'm taking his child companion and then I'm offering to trade my sab for his IG-11 if he so decides to go for the revenge kill. So Derek decides to incapacitate the child instead of letting it die, which makes sense, and that's fine by me. Incapacitated child is still not a child that can use force heal or force exhaustion when if I need to take out Mando. So that's good for me, and then I move. I think I'm still. Oh, sorry, I'm still. I was kind of waffling on whether this was a good idea, but I figured out what I just said about, his IG would have to come out. If he had been more aggressive with IG, this might have been not so good for me, but I decided it's fine. So child is now out of commission. It does still count for control. Incapacitated figures still count for control, which is kind of weird, but that's just how the rules work. And now the other one going to come up and control this red crate. This space, again, like I said, is pretty safe. Derek would have to come up to, I think, here or here to get line of sight from any of his figures over on this side, and currently that is 6 spaces away from IG, so pretty safe there. Also, of course, I am going to activate the B group ASAP next round just to get them out of danger if Derek does not pounce on them. Okay, going into round 2. So here's the fun part. So the door's open. This whole time I have been playing this thinking, okay, these crates are going to sit here and be worth 2 VPs and some power tokens. So, I was like, okay, I'll exceed some board control to Derek this round and then have a much better position next round where I'm controlling the middle and I am going to be ready to do start of round stuff, activate start of round in round 3. And then, so we open the doors. I open the middle door. Again, because I want to be able to pressure the entire map from this right side. Derek opens his door leading to his deployment zone, probably so his Mando can retreat if needed. I think I drew Field Supply and Comm Disrupt here. So yeah, then this crates start moving, and I'm like, uh-oh. I'm playing the wrong mission than I thought. And again, I had just been rushing to finish my chores for the night and getting family into bed, so hadn't really been paying enough attention here. And I tell Derek, oops, this is not the mission I thought it was. But, you gotta adapt. So, you know what, that's fine. I'm like, okay, I will adapt to this. So, Derek gets initiative round 1. So now he has a choice. He can, like I said, he can push IG forward and or he can go with Mando, but either way, he'll have to put them in danger where I can attack them with my sabs, my other set of sabs, where I can stun them and have them stuck. And now that Child is gone, or incapacitated, I don't have to worry about his stunned figures just unstunning for free. So let's see, what does he do here? So, and he, Derek remarked in our text chat that he actually wasn't expecting me to open that middle door. But of course, opening my door, the one facing my deployment zone, would just give Mando free access to my deployment, to 3PO, Gideon, Mern, all my support figures. So of course I'm not going to open that door. I think maybe it might have been better for Derek to open that door, actually, and just get free shots with Mando on my support figures, as well as, well, I guess no, because he wants to move those blue crates towards his deployment zone ASAP, so he is kind of forced to open his door, or open the door by his deployment zone. So let's see, he uses his start of round activation to get rid of that. Move his Jawa to safety, back to the terminal, and that is great. I'm very happy about that because it means I get to move my sabs before they get killed. Now I was going to move them back to safety again next round. I was planning to just at the end of round move to control the objectives, which I thought were going to still be in the middle. However, the objectives are now running away from me at breakneck speed. So I need to do something about that ASAP because these crates are worth 6 VPs, but you can destroy them. So as soon as a crate touches someone's deployment zone, that player has 6 additional VPs for each crate, which is a lot. Now you can destroy them, and you can also try and move them out of the opponent's deployment zone, but it's very difficult to do that once it's in their deployment zone without getting punished really hard. Now, Derek has made, in my opinion, a somewhat slight error, and in that he has put his 2 blue crates right next to each other. Now, of course, it makes sense to want to push them back as far away from my figures as possible, but by putting them next to each other, he's given me the opportunity to blast them. Now, he did mention he'd had to go look up the rules for blast and objects, so maybe he might not have realized that you can, that blast damage does affect objects, but I think if he had put the other one here, it would have been much tougher for me. But we're going to get into what happens here. So now I have a big decision to make. Do I retreat or do I go for these crates? And if Derek gets all 3 of these crates and I can only get maybe 1 or 2, I am going to lose very badly. So I realize this is my chance, this is my shot. I need to destroy these 2 crates. They have 5 health each and 1 block. I have collateral damage in my hand. The problem is I also have heavy fire in my list. And I have Saw, and both of these cards, they only target figures, so they let me do area of effect damage, either by taking a stun and bleed for heavy fire, or discarding a command card for Saw, but they can only target figures, so I can't use them on the crates, so I have to use collateral damage. Also, let's see, so I decide I'm going to go for it with B2 at least, because I actually have line of sight from where I am. So I can either attack the crate and then move back to safety, but then I'm doing range 5 and I really don't want to miss on range, on accuracy. Sabs have, in IACP, Sabs have +4 accuracy built in compared to the old ones have +3. So I decide that what I can do with this Sab is if I move him up 1 space to here, I then have 4 movement points left, so I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Gideon will be able to pull him back to safety next round if Derek does not commit to killing him. So let's see what happens. Can I kill it? I already used my hidden, so I'm not focused or hidden, but I do have a reroll. I would need to get 2 damage and blast 4, and then use collateral damage to at least destroy 1 box. But in hindsight, this was actually a pretty long shot. So yeah, I'm really waffling here on whether I want to do this. I did play pretty slow this game, I will admit. I did at least not do any takebacks, which is something I'm trying to improve on, where I'm trying not to go back and try and undo things like I used to do a lot, so that's something I've been trying to work on. But I do end up thinking pretty long about each of my moves here. So I decide to move up. I take the range 4 shot to make sure I get the accuracy I need. I also should also mention I have Blitz in my hand, so I know that I at least have access to some surges, and I rolled a 0 here, which is unfortunate. So I can do 2 damage, but I would really like to get Blast 2 here. So I go ahead and re-roll. I do get another surge, but unfortunately that means now I'm not doing any damage, and you have to do damage to the target to trigger Blast. So I end up having to use my Blitz here. Blitz is a 1-point card. Let's see. Did I ever put it out on the table? Oh yeah, there it is. So Blitz, very good with Sabs. And if you can't tell, Sabs just, they're really hungry for surges, so that's why all of these, like, surge tech is in the list. You have Mern giving hidden, you have Kochin giving surge tokens. It all works together really nicely because they need surges, and they don't roll them. They don't roll as much as you might think they would. Okay, so Blitz allows me to use the first surge for Pierce 2 and the second surge for Blast 2, so 1 damage and Blast 2. And I go ahead and move my Sab back here, and now I'm forced with a decision here. Do I try and go for it with this other Sab? I'm gonna have to sacrifice it if I do. The Sab's gonna die, and I'm not gonna get anything for it other than, look, these stashes are worth 6 VPs each. If I can kill 2 with a 3-point Sab, that's a 12-point gain for me effectively, right? It's like 12 points less to Derek is 12 points in my favor. So ultimately I'm trying to figure out, should I stay here? If I go just to here, then I still have enough movement points to get back to here where I'm pretty safe. But from there, it's a range 6 attack, which is like really tough, even with the reroll, since I don't have focus. I just have a power token and a hidden. And that's where I'm like, okay, I need to not miss this roll. I need to not miss this attack. I need to kill both of these crates here and now. And I'm willing to sacrifice the Sab. And so that's what I do. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, where can I put him that I have, because I would start off here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm trying to figure out where can I go that'll be at least the most safe. But I won't be. He'll be able to just pick it off without really overcommitting at all. But it's worth it. In my opinion, it was worth it. So I spend the power token, of course, because no reason to save it if I think he's gonna die. And oh, I forgot to mention the last one. So on this attack, the one from the first Sab, I could have actually I had overwhelming impact in my hand, and if I had played it, I could have removed that one block. I wouldn't have added any surges because there were no dice rolled, but I could have at least gotten Blast 4, and then what do you call it? Collateral damage for the final 2 damage to kill one of the crates. And I really thought about that really hard for a while, and I thought, no, I cannot give up overwhelming impact. That card is just too powerful to waste like that when I can just kill it with a second Saboteur attack. So, and I'm really glad I didn't, because I think it did pay off in a big way later in the game. For those that are wondering, overwhelming impact, yeah, very strong card. Okay, going back to this roll. So thankfully I roll well enough that I actually did 3 damage to the one I'm targeting, and then Blast 4 to the other one. So they go down, and Onar is now going to come out. So I was actually expecting IG to do this, but Onar decides to go for the shot. Takes a range 4 shot, which honestly sometimes doesn't kill because he doesn't have surge for accuracy, even with focus, but he does get a really good roll on the blue. But he rolls pretty bad on his damage here. And so Derek actually forced to play Assassinate. So I'm actually really happy about this exchange. Like, I thought I was just going to lose a Sab for nothing, but I actually pulled Assassinate out of Derek's hand and a focused owner attack. You know, that could have gone to something else. So yeah, again, pretty happy there, even though, you know, not fun to lose this figure, but losing, taking one of the strongest cards in Derek's deck out of his hand, very good. Alright, so now, like I said, I am going to pull my B2 Saboteur back with Gideon and focus him. And now we're back to a bit of a stalemate. And this is kind of what I want, though, is I want more time to focus up my figures and set up a good end of round, start of round going into the next round. So R2 going to draw me another card. A lot of nothings in my hand. No movement cards, which was really rough. I was really hoping to draw like Urgency or Heart of Freedom early, so I could try and close the gap across the map against Derek. So now I play... So I'm activating Mern, and I decided to go for the Intel leak here, just to try and catch any other movement cards out of his hand. Let's see. So we've got we've got Strength in Numbers, Element Surprise, Celebration, Heightened Reflexes, and Field Tactician. So all but one of them cost 1 point or less, which means they'll get excavated even if I discard them. Really glad that Child is gone, so you can't use Field Tactician. That card is super strong with the Child Companion. For those that don't know, it's any figure, special action, another small figure within 2 spaces performs a move, so you just have the Child play that as its free action, and you're getting like free movement off of whoever's nearby. Celebration I'm not too concerned about, because I have so many Sabs, and I'm going to be keeping my unique figures back and safe if I can. Elements, you know, Strength in Numbers is scary, but I decide let's go with the one that you cannot get back, which is Heightened Reflexes, which would be really good if I ever roll a dodge with one of my Sabs, which I am hoping to do because they have low health and he has big attacks, and a dodge would be very impactful. And then Mern is going to hide on the Sab and on Saw. Mern can reach 4 spaces, which is nice with her ability, unlike Bib, who only reaches 2, which I now know. And I think Derek passes here, so 3PO going to come up and focus Saw. And now we've got Afra activating, but not going to move, so basically passing with Afra. Okay, and now I'm trying to set up. So I forgot to mention, I have a plan with this setup. So where I put that Y2 Sab in the tree, my plan was to have him be able to move up to control this yellow objective here, and then be able to shoot at whoever was still controlling the red objective at the end of this round, at the end of round 2. Now it became more pressing now that I realized the objective started moving, but the plan still remains. If I get up here, based on where this crate is here, from this yellow crate I can see any of the spaces adjacent to this red crate, and I'm going to try. I need to kill this red crate too, which was my original goal. And I'm pretty happy because he moves Bib over to the crate. So I'm like, wow, I can actually kill Bib too. If I can get Bib and the crate, this will be really good for me. Going into round 2 where we actually start fighting, Derek will be losing a significant amount of his support resources. So again, he moves Bib up. Activate the, let's see. Oh, sorry, he's still activating Afra. So she didn't actually pass, she moved over to Onar. Oh, she played the Field Tactician to get IG into position. So this is where I get scared, because I'm like, wait, why did he do that? And this is where also I wish I had written down what Derek had in his hand, because I could remember all of the cards, like the individual cards, but I couldn't think of what was if I was forgetting anything, because I didn't write them down. And so I was like, shoot, did he draw like a movement card off of Jabba while I wasn't paying attention? Again, late at night. So the thing I'm scared of is IG coming down to like here, or let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like here, and killing this sab, which will really ruin my plans. Or taking a spot, like taking this spot here, and so that I can't take it. So my plan originally was to have this sab come up here at the end of the round and then be ready to go to play like maximum destruction or whatever that card was. That's a double action, heavy weapon, attack, deal +4 damage. But now I'm really worried that Derek's got something that I'm not thinking about, and so I decided to pull the trigger early here instead of activating Saw. So Saw does not activate. Instead, I'm going to move my sab and go forward with my plan. Now, originally I was going to try and kill Bib and kill the box with a blast. And I was going to do that with overwhelming impact and collateral damage. However, neither of those cards will give me extra range. So if I miss on accuracy, and I don't have a reroll with this guy either, I am totally effed. Like, I really can't afford to whiff, even though it's only 1 extra range. So I decided I'm just gonna go for the crate instead, and at least hope that I get Bib. So yeah, I started off thinking I'm gonna go for Bib, and I said no, I'm gonna go for the crate actually. So I spend my power token, and I'm hidden as well. And of course I make range because it's range 4. So I get blast 4 and pierce 2, so 2 damage to the crate. And so here I can either exhaust heavy fire or discard a card for Saw. And I decided since heavy fire is free, I should do that. I think that was a mistake though, because the card in my hand is maximum firepower, and I'm not thinking about this. This is the double action, perform an attack. I really should have kept that, not stayed stunned, because now I realize that next round I will have to spend an action to remove the stun, which I won't be able to do double action to attack. So I think I should have discarded either field tactician, field supply, or guerrilla warfare here to kill Bib. Oh, by the way, the other reason I wanted to kill Bib was because I realized weakening IG-11 with Saw would be really good for me. Okay, so Bib goes down. I deal 1 damage to IG with heavy fire, and then Saw is going to weaken IG-11 with brutal tactics, which is really good against his double attack. Now, unfortunately, because I jumped the gun there, I basically sacrificed my sab, but at least I killed something before he went down. And I'm not sure if I should have gone for Bib or if I should have gone for the crate, although as you can see from that roll, I would have missed if I had shot at Bib. So I think ultimately I was justified going for the safe attack there. And now I go ahead and double move the other Y group of sabs, the yellow sabs. And I move this guy up because I want him to be ready to go and pretty safe. Unfortunately, Derek still has Mando. But this is a pretty long shot for Mando. Even with focus, he does have surge for accuracy, but let's see. He does play the element here. So with the disruptor rifle attack, and unfortunately he does not roll a single surge. The element did make a lot of sense too, because he wanted to stop the surge or the dodge. If he had gotten a surge here, this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He still would have missed on accuracy, even if he had rolled a surge. So that's a really long shot for him. And then he moves back into cover. Now I move Saw up, because again I want Saw to be in position. And now we see IG gonna come up. But he goes after Mern here, and I thought this attack was very interesting. I think maybe he thought he could one-shot Mern. Mern has 9 health total, so she's down to 7. but with weaken, that's going to make it very difficult to one-shot her even with a focus. So he re-rolls with targeting computer. Oops. There's our guy, IG-11. And I think he does like 5 damage, so he makes the range, which is crazy. He does 4 damage to Mern. And now he has to decide, does he want to try and go for it again? Because that's a range 9 attack, and he's weakened, and he's no longer focused. So decides to go for the Sab this time. But the weaken takes its toll. So he does, let's see, 5. He does 4 damage instead of 6 there. But he still wouldn't have killed it, so my Sab lives inexplicably through the round, going into the next round, and now I'm going to have initiative. And I'm pretty happy because I forget that I'm stunned, so I thought, oh, I'm going to get the maximum firepower here. Khotun's going to be my last activation. Gives a surge token to the focus Sab over next to Mando. And I'm going to move up here, because again, I need her to be ready to go to shoot at either IG or Mando. So looking at the score here, the Derek is up by 1 point. So if nothing else happens, and he's about to kill this Sab next round. So Derek is ahead. So I need to be ready to kill something big. So going into round 3, and I have Calm Disruption, even though I lost my negation, so I don't have to worry about take initiative. But he actually doesn't draw it. So now the doors open, the crates move. So unfortunately that red crate is now out of my reach. So I'm gonna have to just assume that we're both gonna have 6 VPs, and I need to be ahead on VPs regardless. So now I'm in a tough spot where I need to kill something. Obviously I can go for IG here. I can try and stun him, but then of course he'll just run. He'll just unstun and run away. And then if I try to go for something else, oh, so here we got some command cards being played. So guerrilla warfare being played here by me. This one's really hard to set up. I had a hard time because the map is so small, so it's very hard to be 3 spaces away from your other figures. But I did get at least 2 figures. I got Khotun and I got the Saboteur hidden, which is good. So honestly I think if you can get at least 2 figures hidden off of this, it's kind of worth its points, because they also get block tokens. And then field supply, I'm able to give a damage token to the Sab and a damage token to Khotun. And urgency gets excavated by Dr. Afra. Okay, so I need to kill something big, and I need to lose no more than 2 Sabs. This is the final turn. We hit time. So I go for the attack, spend the damage power token, +1 surge for hidden. So I need to stun him so he can't kill me and run. I re-roll thanks to field supply. So when you play field supply from Khotun, you get to re-roll whenever you spend a power token, and then her base ability, since he's within 3, gives me a second re-roll as well. But this looks fine to me. 3 damage, pierce 4, pierce 2 and stun. So 2 damage and stun. So now I have a tough choice. I need to decide, do I want to keep pouring damage into IG, or do I go try and stun Mando instead? I think about it for a while, and I realize I can't double stun IG, so he's just going to unstun, run away. Then I can maybe try and stun Mando with B2, but I'll only I won't be able to really do enough before he runs away as well. He'll just unstun and run away, and then Derek will win on points when he kills my yellow 6 damage, 1 health Rebel Saboteur. So I realize I need to stun both of them so that whichever one he does run away with, I can try and kill the other one with the rest of my figures before it also runs away. So I go for it here. Oh, I think I played Urgency with my Y1. I think I was gonna try and go for the crate with that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so I was gonna try and go up to one of these spots with Urgency with this guy, and try and kill this crate. Oh, can't click on it. But Derek has the negation, so now that I know that that is not an option, back to plan A, which is stun Mando and IG so that he can only run away with one at a time. Yeah, I thought about going for IG. I'm like, nope, I gotta go for Mando here. So focused attack, he gets the triple block, and this is where it pays off for me to have saved overwhelming impact. You can see the card. So ignores the block token from that he spent, adds a damage and a surge, allowing me to pierce all of his triple block and stun him, and deal 3 damage. And able to move back to control that yellow crate so I can keep it moving, although it doesn't really matter since this is the last round. So now Derek has to decide which one he wants to try and save, and he tries to save IG. So now I need to work on Mando. So I have 2 options here. I can either attack it with this sab right here or Kotun. I decided to go with Kotun because once he activates Mando, if he moves to here, then Kotun can't attack him anymore. However, this sab can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and can then attack Mando wherever he tries to escape to. So this way he can't escape from my follow-up attack with the Saboteur. Alright, so this is a big one. I've got Focus, Hidden, and a Power Token. Wish I had Wild Attack, but I don't have it here. Let's bring up Kotun's card. And I do have double rerolls here. I have one from Dead Precise, and I also have one from Field Supply. Or no, excuse me, I have one from Dead Precise and Professional. So I do reroll here. I whiff on the first reroll, but I get an extra damage on the second one. So I think I dealt a nice 5 damage, bringing him down to 4 health. Move her back to safety. Alright, so now we've got a big turn here. Onar are going to play Urgency off of Excavation. I have Calm Disrupt in my hand, and I'm debating should I play it, because I don't know what he can really do with Urgency. I'm thinking he's trying to like get over here so he can maybe like rush this guy out of the way and then to kill him and then go for a big attack on Kotun. But that means he'll need 2 the limit, and so I figure if he does that, I'll just use Calm Disrupt on his 2 the limit to leave him exposed and out of position. So again, I break my own advice and I let Urgency resolve. And again, you really should never let Urgency resolve if you can if you can help it, because if they're playing Urgency, it means they're trying to do something that they couldn't normally do without those extra 2 movement. So Onar comes down south instead, and he goes after my sab, my unactivated sab, and I'm like, this is a range 5 unfocused Onar attack. Like, I was not expecting this to happen. I did not think this was a viable move, but here it comes. He natty rolls amazing. I don't dodge, and I'm like, oh my god, if he's got some kind of card or something, he's dead. But nope, nothing, and I live. And so he tries to strengthen numbers here, because now what he can do is he can send Afra down here to finish off my sab, and this is where Calm Disruption has to come out, because I need the sab to live and I need him to get to safety. I cannot lose the Saboteur. So come up, take my shot at Mando, spend my surge token, which is going to give me a reroll from field supply, and I roll awesome. He rolls the triple block again, and now I'm really so now I have a reroll option, and I'm worried about Onar's get down, possibly stuffing my attack and denying my kill. But I realize here that even if he uses get down to either add a evade or add a block, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna pierce 4 regardless and deal 4 damage to him. So I get the kill on Mando, but he's got extra protection. I was really hoping to keep this Sab alive from Onar. It's gonna let him perform an attack here. So Onar comes down and he performs attack, and I'm like, you know, I haven't rolled a dodge yet. Dodge would be really nice right now. I mean, Derek's gotten like, what, 2, 3 triple blocks? I'll take a dodge here. Nope, just the block. So Sab goes down, unfortunately. And that actually ties us up, I believe. No, it doesn't. Those Sabs are only worth 3, but he's getting 4 from Jabba. I keep forgetting to mention that. So Derek goes to 8, but he's gonna get 4 from that yellow Sab that I left out there in the green area. So it's effectively going to be 12 to 12, and it's going to be tied up. But I have 12 kills. He has 6, so that means I would have won on the tiebreakers if we were actually 12 to 12. But the problem is this guy is sitting here, and now that his keeper has been killed, he gets to be picked up by somebody else for 1 VP. A 1 VP that's going to break this tie. And Afra is just close enough that she can come down and grab him. So now I still need to kill something. So I'm looking at my options here. Gosh, can I kill Onar? He's got 15 health. And I think, maybe. So first of all, I'm looking at my options. Focus Gideon, right? I'm checking line of sight here. So like, can Myrn actually get line of sight? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and yes, she can. She can draw to this square here. So Myrn can attack, and then I think, ooh, can Saw actually attack? So I check it. 1, 2, 3, 4 to here. Okay, so I realized I didn't actually explain how I knew that Saw would have line of sight from this space. I did mention I used the line of sight tool to double check when I actually activated Saw, but that's actually not how I was able to check it beforehand. So I want to show you guys this trick that I have finally been able to learn. It's taken me a long time, but I finally figured it out. Actually kind of recently, just a couple weeks ago, I was messing around with this. And the way it works is it's the counting spaces or counting intersections trick that you may have heard some people use. It's based on like trigonometry, I think, or something like that. But basically, here's the way it works. So it works for if you are trying to figure out line of sight from one space to another, and there's like a blocking corner blocking your line of sight line. It's really hard to explain just talking about it, which is why I never really got it, because nobody was really able to explain it to me that well. But I'm going to try and show you guys here in Vassal. So first of all, let's look at just where Saw is here. We're trying to figure out if we can draw a line of sight to Onar. So there's 2 possible ways we could do this, right? We could either go top corner to top corners, or we could try and do bottom corner to bottom left corner to Onar's bottom corners. So how do we do this without actually pulling out the line of sight line and tipping off our opponents what we're looking at, right? Because this is going to be a big advantage if you can figure out complex line of sight lines just by looking at it and eyeballing it without having to actually trace it on the board. You can actually conceal a lot of information from your opponent. So here's how we do it. You figure out what is actually blocking line of sight, and then you start counting intersections to it starting from the corner that you're intending to draw a line of sight from, and then you start off going in the direction that your sight line is meant to draw. So in this case, let's say I wanted to figure out going from the top right corner to Onar's top corners. How would I do that? So first of all, I would start here, and then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and now I have to go down 1 to get to this space, which is what's blocking my line of sight, this corner right here. So 3 over, 1 down. Now we're going to do that again. 1, 2, 3, 1 down. And then we would keep going. And now by doing that, I can see, oh, okay, I've only touched this corner. So what that means is I can really only draw a line from this top left corner to this top left corner. And I can't actually, since my counting didn't get me to any of Onar's other quarters, I'm not going to be able to draw a line of sight from there. So let's check the bottom left corner. And now since we're going down this way, we're going to start off going in that direction. So we're going to go down. So we're going to start here. We're going to go down until we get to the same row as this corner, which is blocking line of sight. So we're going to go start here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we're going to go 1 down and 4 over. So we're going to do that again. Starting here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I see that I have touched these two intersections on my way there, and that indicates to me that, oh, I can actually draw a line of sight to both of those corners from Saw's corner. There you go. And as long as your line of sight line is just crossing through this intersection, it will go, it still counts. This black part that goes outside the intersection, that doesn't actually block line of sight. So that's how I was able to tell. And if you want to see, like, I can do that from, like, so let's say, and you can do this for anything. I mean, like, let's practice it up here. Like, let's say this Jawa is right here, right? And I want to see, can I get line of sight from Saw to this Jawa? Well, which corner am I most likely to get it from? This corner right here, right? And then I'm going to go up and over this way, right? To get over this. I wish I could draw a line. Oh, I guess I can. I want to go up and over this direction. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go up and then over. So I think actually this is actually the corner that's blocking our line of sight, right? Not this one. So let's try that this way. 1, so 1, and then 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Okay, so actually we should have line of sight to this Jawa, and let's see. Yes, we do. So it works. So yeah, I've been trying to figure out how this works the last couple weeks, and it's been really helping my line of sight game. I didn't use it in my last game, but I finally got a opportunity to practice it in this one. So anyway, that's how you do that. I just wanted to share with everybody because I've never had it really clearly explained to me, and I finally feel like I can explain it here. Let me know in the comments if it helps at all, or if I should just like try and explain it in a separate video. Anyway, now I realize, okay, maybe I can, I think I have to kill Onar here to win. So step 1, 3PO. Oh, so first of all, Derek's going to finish off the Saboteur with the Jawa. So now, yeah, here we go. It's tied up. So step 1, activate R2, hope to draw something useful. I drew take initiative, so not useful. And now Derek passes. So now step 2, 3PO, focus Gideon. Get out of Gideon's line of sight to Mern, so Gideon can focus Mern next turn. Okay, Derek passes. And now Gideon first attack Onar, and then see if he needs to focus somebody or move out of the way. And Gideon rolls amazing. Onar doesn't use get down, so he takes 6. And then focus Mern. And now I think Derek realizes he might be in trouble. but he does go ahead and pick up the child, and he also is moving Afra into place. So I should still mention he has Jabba. Jabba can do order hit to give movement points to one of his figures, but it's going to cost him VPs and he won't have enough to win, so he'd have to kill something off of that. So now it's time to go with either Mern or Saw. So the problem is if I go with Mern first, then Jabba could use order hit with either Afra or Onar and finish off Mern, who only has 3 health. And then even if I do kill, I guess if I kill Onar there, I would still win, but it's a little too close, so I decide it's time to go with Saw. And I realized here that Derek actually didn't realize that Saw could shoot at Onar from there because it was such a weird shot. But he's focused, he spends the power token. It's range 5. And I've got the surge for accuracy and surge for +2, and he gets +2 accuracy built in. And he actually has an additional +1 surge, so even if Onar uses Get Down to cancel one of my surges, I'm still dealing max damage here. So I do 5. Oh no, excuse me, 6. Leaving Onar at just 3 health. And so now Derek realizes he is going to die to my focused Mern attack, unless he can kill something on my side. So it's no longer going to be tied. And he has to do what he has to do here, so he goes with Jabba, spends the 2 VPs to take a shot at Gideon with Onar, who has 3PO backup, and he is 1 damage short. Although, I don't know, sorry, he missed on accuracy, but he's also 1 damage short because he doesn't have Bib Fortuna left. So Onar moves out of the way. And now Mern is going to activate... Oh no, it doesn't... Sorry. So now Derek's minus points. Both of our crates move into the deployment zones. And I win on 1 point. So that was a crazy game. Sorry it was so long, but I really wanted to go in depth on what I was thinking and what was going on. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. And thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.